What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lightseekers headquarters today. Today I'm going to be profiling the two decks that were played. I believe you guys saw the video last night of Dread versus Storm, myself versus my buddy Kyle. Today I'm going to be profiling both of them for you guys today, and I'm going to be profiling this one in a separate video, but I'll be profiling the deck that he played yesterday, which was the Elishi Storm deck, which is a very fast-paced, heavy-hitting attack deck with a lot of support buffs. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that match yesterday. I'm very sorry about the quality. There was a lot of glare and you couldn't see quite the cards. I guarantee you it will improve next time. Hopefully this quality is a little bit better. I found a solution with my this is my slightly better quality video because I'm using my second best camera, but I will have my better camera for future videos. So I do apologize for that, but I'm going to put this one to the side, and that will be for another video. And as the deck starts to fall, as I move it, that should be in a blooper. Anyways, but yeah, today we're going to be profiling the Storm deck that he played. This is actually my variant of it. His deck is very similar to it, but there's a lot of different cards in this that he is not using. First, let's just take a look at Elishi. Why do we run this? I mean, it's an uncommon hero, so you might not think it's that great, but this card's actually really good with Storm. But Elishi, overall, I mean, it's just a solid card. Dominant element is obviously lightning or electric, whatever you guys want to call it. Deal 2 damage to another hero if they have no buffs. This cannot be increased. Now, you might think that, oh, well, you can only really do that at the start of your turn, or if you're going first. I mean, it's not actually in that case. I mean, you're running lots of buff removals. I mean, you're only really like running 3 or 4, but the amount of times that buffs are going to run out in late game, and if you still have your buffs in play that boost, like for example, there's a couple cards like Lightning Bringer, Storm Shaman. This can do 7 damage, 6 damage just with one ability, right? Without even using an attack card, right? So and it counts as an ability, so it's therefore you're not necessarily getting I'm pretty sure that is attack, so yeah, I'm pretty sure it still counts as an attack, but you're still not using an attack card, which is pretty good. And you can save your attack cards for later on. But yeah, that's why this card's solid, because you're running Thunder Slugs to remove their buffs. So on the first roll, first turn, it's going to be 1 and then 2. So basically, you're getting rid of 3 buffs. And more than likely, they're not going to have, with the 4-card hand, they're not going to have 4 buffs. Well, good chance, I mean, they could have it. Yeah, that's why Elishi's good. I mean, especially in the late game, you can just hit hard with it. And early game as well. I mean, it's pretty busted. Moving on to attack cards, as I said, this deck runs a lot of attack cards because it is Storm. Storm is known for running a lot of attack cards. But it's running 3 copies of Spark Wish. Now, Spark Whiffs, sorry. Can't get that one right. Why this card is good, I mean, just straight 5 damage is quite solid. It's a very fast-paced card, and it's you gotta play your attack cards very carefully in Storm, because there's a lot of decks, especially Nature and Tech, that can set up traps against you. I mean, yeah, people can heal off damage, but more than less, they're not going to heal off 5 unless it's just a straight action card that says heal 6, which we run. But early game, you're just going to be hitting 5 damage, and that's just huge. Like, you can go 5-2 from Elishi, and there's 7 damage on turn 1 if you go first. But yeah, just straight 5 damage, nothing too much about it. Very good card. Next up, this card I think should be played in every single deck. Very situational, run 3, but only reason why is just because of the combos I'm running in this deck. I'm going to run Dust Fiend. 3 copies of this. This card's really busted just in general. 4 damage. This card can count as any element when used for a combo. Now, this is a very, very good card just because whenever you use a combo, I'll get to combos in a second, if you're missing an element, this can count as any element, but you have to have this element open on your hero, as I can probably show that. Which is quite good if you're missing, let's say, a water element or a lightning element, which is pretty good. But that's the main reason why I play. I mean, 4 damage is solid regardless. I mean, for a single attack card, it's really good. Now getting into the 2-ofs and I believe 1-of. No, just 2-ofs now. I run 2 copies of Living Cloud, sorry. 4 damage, increases by 2 if the recipient has no buffs. This card's very, very situational. It's really good at the start of the game, just like how Elishi is. I mean, you can combo it very, very well. I mean, a solid 8 damage turn 1. There's nothing to complain about. But I only run 2 of in this deck just because I don't think you really need a 3 of, just because in the late game it's not very good. Because there's plenty of cards now that reduce damage by 4 or 3, and you're only going to be dealing 1 damage, so there's really no point having it. Sorry, I should say mid-game, not late game. But very late game, this card can be decent. So it's mainly used at the start and the very end of the game when there's not a lot of buffs in play and you're running out of resources. So that's the main reason why it's played in this deck. But yeah, 4 damage and increased by 2 if your opponent has no buffs. Next card, this is a 2-of just for the main reason. This card is very busted, but I can't find space for for a third one. Also because I'm not running as many buffs as other types, because Storm does not run... I think it runs like 2 or 3 less than regular types. Other types, I should say. But Crackling Beast, 3 damage, and may remove 1 of your buffs to increase this by 3. Busted card, I mean, you can just trigger Storm Shaman. Basically, if your Storm Shaman's on its last rotation, which I'll get to and I'll explain, you can pop that. So it's going to deal 3 damage plus the 4. Then it removes, and then you deal an extra 3. So you're going to do 10 damage off a single card, which is pretty much a combo. And what people don't know is that there's actually, I'll bring it closer. I probably guys can't see it, but see if I can get it in there. It's on AR, currently on AR focus. You might not be able to see it, but there is a period at that 3, so the 4 will connect with this, and it actually will deal 10 damage. But if I'm wrong otherwise, I'd like to see that. But as of right now, that's what everybody's saying. So that's why it's busted. It can be increased. It's very good. This card, I only run 2 of because obviously this is only play at the start of the game. I mean, 6 damage if they have more than 20 health. Busted card. I mean, 6 damage is just solid. 3 damage increased by 3 if the recipient has 20 more health. Recipient is your opponent. So yeah, that card's good. That's it for attack cards. So we only run 6, 8, 10. We only run 12, as many decks do. Some decks might run more, but the absolutely most necessary card in all Storm decks is 3 copies of Thunderslug. To get your attack cards through, you need to run Thunderslug. This card is stupidly broken and should be played in every single deck if they had it. But you may remove 1 buff from another hero. Simple as that. First one is 1, second rotation is 2. Stupid card. On rotation, it's so broken. It should be played in at least every Storm deck, in my opinion. But yeah, this card, I just think it's too good, and it actually helps out with a lot of defensive plays, especially when you're trying to get damage off. This threatens your opponent to not attack you. So basically what it does is deal, so this is, I should probably say the name, Electrified Moat. Deal damage whenever you get attacked. So that is from attack cards, defend cards that say attack. Buffs do not count, as it's just a turn and it's not technically an attack. Elishi would account because that is technically activating an ability and it's dealing damage to your opponent. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I would love to know. As always, this is a new game and I've only been playing for about 2 months. But basically, whenever you get attacked, 3 damage and then it rotates. And it has clunky corners. If you guys don't know what clunky corners are, actually, I probably should grab a card to show you. These ones rotate at every single buff stage because it's a regular circle. And these clunky corners right here mean that whenever you get hit or whenever this triggers, it turns. So basically, it doesn't turn on any rotation. It sits there until it gets removed, and it's just quite good. Next up, we have 2 copies of Cloud Harvester. This card is very good just for recycling cards, just in general, especially because we're running a base Lightning as that's the dominant type of Elishi, actually, guys. If I didn't tell you that, but that's the dominant type, and then it has 2 other types. If I didn't tell you, I'll get into more of the basis of the game when we do our how to play. But 2 copies of Cloud Harvester. Why is this card good? I mean, first of all, dealing 1 damage is just solid. 2 damage between 2 turns. But on the last corner, it's basically a recycle card. Move 2 discarded. Since this is on the rotation. It can be boosted, by the way. There is cards to boost it, but you don't have room in this deck. Move 2 discarded lightning cards back to your hand, which is basically it's the corner there. But yeah, that's the reason why it's in here, because you can just keep recycling your attack cards. It's pretty stupid. So that's the main reason why it's in here. Yeah, getting on to one of my favorite cards in the deck. This card is so dumb, and it's very, very good. It's Storm Shaman. Increased damage done to under heroes. So first rotation, obviously, because it's X, it does nothing. So X means there's no effect. If it doesn't have anything, there's obviously a different effect to it, and it will have effect. But on the next rotation where it says 4, all your attack cards are dealing 4 more damage. Which, I mean, like, you can't go wrong with that. So that's the main reason why we run 2. The next card, very similar. It's Lightning Bringer. Deal damage to your target. Increase this buff by 5. Increase this by 5. They have no buffs. So basically, on this one, you're going to deal 5. If they have no buffs, you deal 10. The card's just stupid. So basically, if you'll deal 10 if they have no buffs, which you use your Thunder Slugs for. And if you have 2 out, you're dealing 20. So, pretty solid card. This card is probably the most defensive card in the deck by far. That's 2 copies of Bubblefish. This reduces damage, obviously, on each corner. It has a certain number. That's how much it's going to reduce. Every type usually has one. I only run 2 just because this is mainly an offensive deck, but you do want to have stuff to reduce damage. So, that's me resident here. As always, we do need to have a couple healing cards. So I just run Guard Snail. Gain 9 health. It's just simply good on the last card. So, getting into the defend cards. Now, these are very important. As always, you do need to heal in the mirror match, which is very important. We run 2 copies of Vitalized Frog. Just healing 6 is solid. It's a very good card in general. That's it for that one. Then we run Delivery Crab. This card, good draw support just in general if you're running long support. 3 healing draw card. I mean, win-win situation right there. And we run 2 of them. Getting into our final cards of the stage, we run our combo cards here. We can only run 5, and they can be all have to be unique, so you can only run 1. We run Overload as our first combo just because it's a quick 2 lightning combo. 8 damage, may discard 1 combo card from your hand, increases by 2, plus its discarded combo cost. So let's say you discard Stormwall, you'd plus it by 3, so you'd be dealing 13 damage. So that's the main reason why it's in here. Getting on to Stormwall, quite ironically. For 1 element, 3 elements, sorry, lightning, water, and wind, so the main 3 elements, you can't be attacked. Except on this corner, you can. 4 damage straight up when it gets in. So basically, on each corner, you deal damage except for that one. And it does it to all players, which is pretty good. There is a multiplayer version of this game, but I don't really play that. As the above is applied to all targets, reduced by 1. So if you're playing multiplayer, that's the only time it's going to be reduced by 1. But yeah, pretty good so far. That's the main reason why it's in here. It's because it's a nice little defect card for people you're playing against. This card is just solid, straight up 12 damage, 2 lightning and a water. It's very quick. It's actually very busted as well. Next up, we have Tornado. This card is another recycling card. It must be played in every single deck, in my opinion. 10 damage, move 4 discarded action cards to your deck. Simple as that. 2 wind, 1 lightning, 1 water. This card I'm considering cutting just because, I mean, it helps out with a lot of buff damage just in case your guys have stuff that you reduce from attacking. But basically on rotation, you're going to be dealing 8, then 9. So in total, you're dealing 17 damage between 3 turns, essentially. Yeah, 3 turns. In 2 rotation, 3 turns. There we go. But yeah, that's it for my Storm deck, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully that was better quality, as I do apologize for the last video. But anyways, as of always, I'm Ben from the Lightseekers headquarters, and Kyle will be in another video shortly. I hope so, at least. But anyways, you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.